Yes, sir, man.
Let's do it.
We're excited to have you. We like running through brick walls ourselves. The coffee gets us there usually.
That's right.
www.carguycoffee.com.
Good stuff.
All right, so we're super excited to have you on the show. For one, brother, like we said, communicating with you and having conversations with you has been great. You are somebody that's got a great heart, that has great vision, has great experience, and really is trying to put all that together to make something great at where you're at right now. So welcome to the show. Welcome to the cafe.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate the kind words, and I assure you they are reciprocated both ways. It's been a pleasure to get to know you guys here over the last 12 months and family as well. We've enjoyed our time, I think, speaking off camera, and I'm excited to be here today to share a little bit as well.
Speaking of sharing, tell everybody a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and a little like what you love to do.
Yeah, so I'm Tommy Dent. I'm the digital sales manager at Kelly Automotive Group in Northeastern Indiana. We are headquartered in Fort Wayne, Indiana. We have 14 logos and 9 rooftops sprinkled across both the Fort Wayne campus as well as Decatur, just outside of Fort Wayne as well.
That's right.
We have both Highline and GM stores in our portfolio, so we have a very diverse customer base, and it's events like these that just help us move that needle. We have been in business for 73 years now. Woo. And really have done a great job not only creating a culture of places that people want to buy cars from, but places that people want to work to sell cars from then as well. And I am one of those. As we mentioned last time, I actually came from outside of the industry. I was in software previously, did some commodities brokerage, obviously, prior to that. And I found my home here and have really, really enjoyed that time. We have a great team, awesome leadership team, young and progressive, very open to new ideas. Drive Centric is one of those ideas that has come to fruition here in the last 15 to 18 months. They've done a wonderful job supporting us. And now we're out here supporting them as well, and working on customer advocacy, not only for Drive, but then translating that into our customer base then as well, and creating a better experience through the platform for all of our customers out there as well.
I love that. I love that you threw in that Drive Centric, because it's important that you have the right tools to be able to make sure that your soldiers are ready to be going into combat. And I don't want to call it combat. We're not out there trying to combat against customers, but the world of sales is combative. We got to be really strong. We got to be better. We got to be working hard. We got to be in line. We got to be even dressed to the T's, looking right. And that's something that's special. Having the right process, the right people inside the stores, right leadership, but having the right culture. One thing about Drive Centric is I think it helps the culture. I think it helps a lot. It does. It really does. So speaking of that, what has Drive Centric done for you and your culture so far?
Yeah, great question. And you're absolutely right. One of the things that I think Chip did a wonderful job talking about yesterday was creating the similarities, or highlighting the similarities between the restaurant and food service industry and what we do. You have a greeter who takes down your reservation, passes you off to somebody that's going to sit you down, pour you water. Next person comes around, takes your order. Then there's a cook back there that's putting together your meal. This is a team environment that creates the overall experience for the restaurant food service industry there. This is not that different. Again, Chip did a wonderful job highlighting that, and I think it's really important to push that team environment. We look at Kelly Automotive Group and all of our stores as departments and people within those departments. But our customers look at us as Kelly Automotive Group. So whether you're talking to service, whether you're talking to sales, whether you're talking to our car wash, whether you're talking to our accessories and body shops, the experience to them is Kelly Automotive Group. They're doing business with one entity, despite the fact that we've divided this internally into these different departments. And it's tools like Drive Centric that have helped us create a more collaborative work environment, both internally and externally. So the ability to create what we call the customer 360 view, and create a singular source of truth for not only their interactions with our employees, but also internally, the interactions that we've had internally, whether that's conversing on a deal or mining into customers and things of that nature. It's just created a much more collaborative environment for us, which, again, back to that whole delivering a good meal, it's all part of that experience. And what we're trying to do is serve a hot, delicious steak every single time and make sure they're coming back for the next one when it's time. So that customer advocacy portion is massively important to us, and something that we're trying to create and get another 73 years out of it.
And
I love that, man.
That's it's really awesome that you made it here. Great job on the 73, and so good that you're seeing what it is that you're seeing, but also that you all are making the shift.
Yeah.
So often what is an issue with a legacy and a long time dealer is there isn't much adjustment.
Yep.
There isn't much change up. We know what got us here, or we kind of know what got us here. We were doing these things and we got here. So let's just keep doing what we know and what's easy. And we are creatures of habit.
Yeah.
We are people that don't necessarily even know what we like. We like what we know. And if you start to create the change up, which the auto industry has had a shakeup to get us to where it is that we are, especially digitally.
Yeah.
Now, before COVID happened, there was a whole lot of technology that was on the fringes and about to be discovered, about to be maybe take off, but in other industries. And you came from the outside.
Yeah.
When coming into the automotive industry, were you in a spot of saying, my goodness, why don't we use the tools that all of these other industries use? You guys are the greatest of the great sales professionals.
Yeah.
Where are we at? Did you kind of have that thought when you came into this?
Yes, with a ton of respect, obviously.
Right.
70 years at the time did not come by happenstance. It was something that we are taking care of our customers. Tom Kelly always teaches us, treat every single customer like your best friend.
Yeah.
And that is proof in our 70 years of experience prior to me coming. That being said, and to your point, it's always easy to come in as Monday morning quarterback, the new guy, and say, you guys are doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong. That's really easy, especially for a guy that has never done that before.
Don't listen to that.
Well, and in their defense, there is a reason that they made it that long, and
Right.
I'd like to give them more than enough props for that. But part of our environment and our culture there is a openness to change, and that is absolutely led by our executive team that does a wonderful job of being progressive and open to those types of ideas, which oftentimes, unfortunately, is met with objections because, well, that means we have to change everything. Not necessarily.
Right.
So what we've done is we've gone through and compartmentalized our efforts and tried to break things in and phase out our solutions so that the change is not something that has to be an overhaul that does it for our internal resources, but also our customers. You're right about COVID. COVID came in and it expedited all of the change and necessity for a digital presence in the retail space, regardless of what industry you're in.
Right.
And it acclimated essentially every person to get more information and education on products, more so and faster than ever before. As such, we have gone through, and I'm part of that. I heard the term earlier, an audit, a circle audit, if you will. We did an audit as well and said, hey, if this is the landscape that we're living in now, what are some of our additional resources that as a larger group that we need to adopt? A digital marketing manager or digital sales manager are two different roles that we created during that time. And what that allowed us to do is to centralize those efforts, obviously for scalability purposes, but to also hyper focus on the digital side of this. As manufacturers are mandating things like retail platforms, as more and more platforms become available for shopping, whether that's third party or even internal features and functions that we have within our websites, we need to have people that are aware and specialize in these things. So again, that fluidity that the executive team and the leadership team puts out there was reflected in these types of hires, my position being one of those. Coming from the outside gave me a fresh look at everything. It led to a lot of learning, obviously. I'm still very green. I hate to admit, 3 years in, I am far less educated in the industry than most of our employees, but it's a great opportunity for me to continue to learn as well. But I do have some good experience in software and in sales that I could bring to the group and work with the entire team to continue to tighten up. And I think we've done a good job of that. Having the right resources available at your fingertips. Obviously, my dad always said, having the right tool is 90% of the job. And then being able to execute is that last 10%. So I believe that we've done a really good job aligning the right tools. It's just now fine-tuning our execution, and that's something that we've really focused on here since launching Drive, and in particular the last couple of months.
That's awesome, man. And I can tell, when we saw you yesterday, you were like, or maybe the day before when I first ran into you, you're like, oh, dude, things are going great. We're moving forward. Things are getting better. So I'm excited to hear about that. I can't wait to hear the next time we talk to you.
Yeah, you and me both.
Because, the things just keep getting better. Like you said, these software, they come in, and 90% of it is the tool that you have. The other 10% comes down to us getting trained on it, working on it, getting being accountable for it, and then actually using it again. Because the thing that most car people do is they do things at work and then they stop.
Yeah.
And we just got to make sure we don't stop doing that. So I'm excited for you, man. I'm excited to see what it looks like in the future. It's awesome.
So being able to be at a DC20 like this isn't your first rodeo.
Yeah.
And there's so much collaboration that happens on this particular one. What has been one of the standouts for you inside of the some of the speakers or maybe some of the breakout sections? What stood out to you this time?
Yeah, so I think with any collaborative type of environment that gets created, like these user conferences where we come in, the highlight for me is always being around like-minded people. You two would be a great example. First off, fantastic energy. You guys do a wonderful job with the show, but also just creating a fun buzz and energy around the industry. And this type of thing that you live in every day is something that I think every single dealership, if not every single business, could really utilize. It's a shot in the arm that just gives you some energy to go back. So my biggest takeaway from these types of events is being inspired by other people and also just a continued student. And this is just a great environment to be that student. Now,
it's fun to be a student.
It is fun. And I can honestly say seldom am I ever the smartest person in a room, even when it's just me. But
I hear that.
More importantly, sitting down and hearing other people's perspective is an opportunity to become a student once more in every opportunity and conversation that you have. And this is such a great place to do that. The theme of the event is working on our engagement and working on the experience. And that is something that we've really, really focused on in the last 12 months. But in particular, some of the takeaways here that I'm going to bring home with us is our management styles and what we're doing to manage our people within these types of tools. And we discussed this on Tuesday night to a certain degree, and I guess I'll expand upon that just briefly. We've done a really good job of getting our people, our sales folks, trained up. Now, obviously, one of the things that we heard, what's the biggest room in the world? The room for improvement.
That's right.
I'll be using that. Sorry in advance for all of my folks that are going to get tired of hearing that, but I absolutely love it. Yeah. And it is true. And to your point earlier, you can't just implement something and assume that it's done. It's a living thing. We got to keep it moving. So the continued training as features and functions become available, obviously important, but how we manage those people is also a primary focus for 2025 for us, and going home, taking away some of the incredible insights, the reporting and analytics that we picked up on one of our breakout sessions was phenomenal. And it's going to bleed into 2025 here for us. That's going to allow us, and one of my focuses is going back through and helping our managers better manage our people within the tool. And what that means for us is, it is great to have our managers be aware of how to do the things that they're doing, but really trying to emphasize and elevate, if you will, our users to that good to great level, and trying to get them beyond being reactionary and being much more proactive. And what does that mean? The data and analytics that comes out of tools that we utilize is great. If we don't do anything with it, though, it's not worth anything. The data and analytics is simply it's the ingredients, but the recipe is having a game plan to take those ingredients and turn them into action. And for me, what I'm really trying to focus on, and some of the takeaways that I've been able to receive here in the last couple of days, is some of those action items that we're looking for. So I am excited very much to get those back in place. Obviously, do a little digestion period here where we prioritize, because a lot of information coming.
Well, I'm going to do this first.
Yep. I heard somebody say inspire and then implement, and
inspiration
leads to
implementation.
Yeah, and I love that because I leave with these things very, very inspired. But putting together a good action plan for implementation is obviously the more important step here, and that's the game plan here. So lots of great stuff, great people. I love running into some of the folks that we like you guys have conversed with in the past, and hearing about some of that growth, what they've done, what has worked, but almost as important, what hasn't worked.
Yes.
Understanding why, because if they're having those types of challenges, chances are we are too, and learning how to overcome those things as well. So lots of stuff there, but lots of great stuff has come out of the show here.
It really is, man. And that's, I love coming to these too. I get inspired the exact same way. Lou and I, we go up, and a lot of times the stuff that we even talk about is little things that we picked up throughout these conferences, right? And because we're constant students, we believe, when we said the biggest room in the world is a room for improvements, because we fit inside that room. Matter of fact, Lou and I are constantly sweeping the corners of that room because we're looking for ways to make it better, cleaner, nicer, right? And you know what? The dust keeps collecting, and that's okay. But that's what makes life great, folks. If we were all perfect and we reached all these levels, we would be bored, and we'd probably be ready to die. I don't want to die. I'm not ready to die at all, man. I'm ready to keep growing and keep living and keep doing amazing things and seeing stuff I've never seen before. But in order to do that, you have to have room for improvement.
You do. Speaking of seeing things we've never seen before, this is one solutionary that is over there in the
get in the zone, baby.
Area.
We always joke, and we say get in the zone because before he worked here, he worked in AutoZone.
There you go.
Literally, I mean, this guy came from nowhere, just was like, boom, and he kicks butt now. He's a great solutioner after big things.
But he says, before you can win, you have to believe you're a winner. Winners think, look, act, and behave like winners. They focus on the daily process of doing what needs to be done to become a winner. I'm assuming you probably were finishing out with that. Johnny, you are 100% correct. There has to be a measure of you believing that you are something that you are still in the process of becoming. And knowing that there is an apple tree inside of the seed, it is just as much an apple tree when it's just a sprout. But time, irrigation, and actual protection helps it to be able to grow into a fully fledged fruit-bearing tree. But that takes years. That takes time. That takes application. That takes nurturing and protection. What's awesome is that you're inside of an organization that is saying, listen, in order to be the champions that we are, we have to continue to grow. We have to continue to sweep those corners. We have to figure out how to be what it is that we are. The title that you currently have, Digital Sales Manager, this is a title that did not exist 5 years ago, right? It wasn't really there. There wasn't many of those that are out there, maybe a few, just like the marketing managers, just like a social media manager, right? The person that's collecting all the content. All of these different positions didn't exist in many stores as we were coming up, but now they exist because we need the attention. And if we need the attention inside of these areas to grow, well, let's make sure that we grow. Let's make sure that we're taking things to the next level, because it's not enough to just have great tools, great technologies, and the great knowledge of techniques. There has to be somebody who actually takes it to the whole, takes it to the goal, takes what it is that we have and makes it work, uses the tools. And you guys are finding a way to do it, and you're in there helping to guide them. I love is how it is that you light up when you are talking about the people that you're leading, the success that you guys are having. We're so thankful for the opportunity that we get to hang out with you. What would you like to say to the Drive-Centric team that has been so incredible at not just setting this up, but being consistent at serving the automotive community?
Well, I think you absolutely nailed it. They are rock stars. We went through a lengthy evaluation in order for us to determine the best partner, which is the right word here, to move us into that next level, let's just say. Drive has done a wonderful job, not only creating a great product. I think when I shared last time, I look at any evaluation quite simply. You're 50% what the features, functions, and capabilities of the product are, and then you're 50% of the support that comes along with it. Getting yourself a Swiss Army knife, but using only the knife to open cans or start fires, you're probably going to get it done, but it's going to be pretty inefficient and not the right way to do it. When somebody can come in and educate you on the additional tools that are in here and make sure you're holding that Swiss Army knife properly, and make sure that you're not only utilizing the tools that you're aware of, but showing you some of those additional features and functions of the Swiss Army knife, that's the differentiator. So if I could say anything, which I have, but I'm happy to say again, because I do take a tremendous amount of pride in our relationship with them, is that they've done just a wonderful job creating a supportive environment within the support team. I speak to them every single day. One of my favorite things to do is, as we bring in new hires, we highlight the little green bubble in the bottom right-hand corner. First thing I do when highlighting the platform itself is I click that green button. 9 times out of 10, before I even get a question out, I got somebody that responds back, "Hey, Tommy, good to see you," or "Good to chat with you. How can we help?" And those times that I actually get it out there, "Hey, I got a new hire sitting here. Why don't you show them how fast you guys respond from a support side?" and they're happy to throw it out there. And I got Nathan, who shout out to him, does a wonderful job leading Pod 6.
Pod 6, shout out.
Represent. Sad to see our girl Amy take a leave here. She's hopping into HR, but she's been instrumental with us then as well. And the beautiful part about this, having come from software myself, in a similar way that they divide departments within our dealership, most software companies do the exact same thing, where your implementation team essentially hands off to the next group of account managers and then customer success managers, so on and so forth. One thing that Drive does exceptional within their support module and support process is those implementation folks are the same ones that are still with us today. Amy and Nathan in particular. Tyler's been instrumental, obviously, as well, done a great job for us. And what that means is they're familiar with every single one of our use cases before we even have a problem. So when they come in, they don't have to go back in and relearn how we use the product. They don't have to learn what our stores and people do. They know and they're familiar. That saves us so much time and so much effort. There's no calories spent on having to re-explain things a dozen times. No names, but let's just say our previous CRM provider was really, really bad at that. And we would spend 50 to 75% of our time that we spent with support was spent explaining what our setup and our goals were.
Sure.
And that is a tremendous waste of calories. And we are so thankful that we can reach out at any time. And while a solution may not be available immediately, there's always a path towards solution.
Heck yeah.
I love
And
it.
I think that one of the things, and I believe it was you two speaking this morning, talking about great news, wrapping bad news in great news, which I think is fantastic, right? If we don't have the ability to do something today, there's still an out. There's a feature request that we can get into. There's a different way to go about it. And they do a wonderful job pivoting into the positive on the support side. It's something that as a sales organization, we are absolutely going to be adopting much, much better and training much better on, hey, we might not be able to get you in that vehicle, but great news, we have other solutions and options here that we can pivot into. And as long as we can have that mindset and align with that, there's no way that somebody can leave with a bad experience, because even though we can't do exactly, as support can oftentimes tell us, can't do exactly what you're after, here's the way that we can get towards that solution. So huge shout out to them. They've done a great job, again, learning from one another, not only within the industry, but from partners and vendors that have great strategies and processes as well. As something that we can pick up while we're at these types of events, and hopefully be able to employ and see the fruits of our labor. Watch that apple tree grow.
That's right.
Absolutely. I love that. And that's just, that thing about the great news, that's just a language change. It's a mindset change. It's a way to not go out and feel bad about something. It's a way to go out and show people how to buy a car, how to buy a car with what's available for you right now. Because that's all we can do. They say 3 out of 4 people that walk in your store are not going to buy. Today, they're all going to buy, right? I want them to come back. I want 2 to 3. I want all 3 of those that left to come back to my store and give me another shot. But they won't. They won't if we don't hit them with great news. They won't if we don't show them a way to do it, because they're going to go shop everywhere else and get bad news. They're going to go shop everywhere else where people don't want to show them options. They're too lazy. So instead, load your salespeople up. Let them know we're going to show options for everybody here. We're going to show everybody a path to purchase, a way that they can buy a car today, or even if it has to be 3 months from now. I want them to come back in 3 months. So show them that experience, give them that great news. And I promise you that language and that feeling that you have with everybody, knowing that, we want to sell a car today, but I also want to sell a car to somebody who's buying 6 months from today. Right? It's all about all that. I'm not going to be mad at somebody who has to leave and come back 6 months from now. I'm going to love them. And I'm going to keep sharing the news of great news to them. So love it, man. That's what I'm talking about, brother.
One thing that we consistently try to teach is that a person is going to forget what it is that you say. They're going to forget what it is that you did, but they're never going to forget how it is that you made them feel. Maya Angelou has nailed that statement, and is so real, because no matter what, people are feeling something when they come to you.
No doubt.
And we want to make sure that if you don't have somebody like a Tommy Dent inside of your dealership, helping make sure that they get passionately fired up to come get inspired and bring implementation to your store, well, make sure that you do reach out to the certified solutionaries. We got your back. With that said, everybody, we are excited to continue to be Brewing Solutions over here at DC20. And Tommy Dent is a massive well of knowledge, and we are so excited that he has his eyes now here inside of automotive, helping to brew solutions and actually make this a better industry, one transaction at a time, one colleague at a time, one day at a time, just like each and every one of you that are watching the show. We appreciate you all tuning in. Make sure that you continue to share this around. Pay attention to what's been going on. If you have not seen the other episodes that we've had here at this DC20, go rewind, check it out while you're in your commute or you're kind of just hitting snooze on your day. Get you a little caffeination, take a coffee break, get excited, because all that we're here to do is put a little something inside of your cup for you to sip up and enhance your business, enhance your day, and go to the next level.
That's right.
Tommy Dent is out here getting the education. You're sitting on your phone, on your laptop, on your desktop, getting a little education from us, and we thank you for it. Continue to share it around, continue to give us love, and make sure that you do subscribe on YouTube, everybody. But we want to make sure that you are at this next DC20. Tommy, what would you say to any leaders, any end users, any super users, or any, man, you need to learn how to use this tool, people that are engaged with DriveCentric or even just considering DriveCentric? What would you say to them about coming to one of these events?
Well, I'd certainly say for the current users, we're back to that whole 50% of the features, functions, and capabilities, and 50% of the support. If you're looking to sharpen up here, this is a great place to do that. We saw a new product release earlier today, which is awesome.
Like real time,
got to see it. They're releasing the alpha testing, and I can tell you that's going to be a great differentiator for a lot of folks looking to self-gen some of these types of deals with all the great data that's in there. So
I love it.
Getting out here early and being part of those early adopters is going to be a great opportunity to differentiate yourself. And for those that would be considering Drive as a possible solution, I tell you right away, there's no better group that's out there that's combining both of those features and support. There's nothing worse than buying a product and watching it collect dust. And this is a great way to stay sharp and to stay up on top of the product. If not from the actual Drive employees here themselves that are teaching us, from the community that's been created here, that they are really pumping a lot of resource and energy into to try to exist as a cohesive environment, if you will, of customers and users that share these types of ideas and strategies. So
Bingo.
I'd say one way or another, you can't lose. It's a great time, and you may even find some good friends that you get to run into every couple of months as well, which is awesome.
That's all.
That's it, man. I appreciate that, and that is true. So, folks, make sure you reach out to DriveCentric. If you're a current member of the family, then come on to one of these events. If you've never been to one, send your team to this event. People that you want to get inspired on using this tool, the ones that are going to be teaching people how to use this tool, send them here, because they're going to learn a lot. They're also going to be able to share a lot too, because I promise you, their perspective matters too. So, folks, get over here, and if you're somebody that's never been part of the family yet, go to www.drivecentric.com. Set yourself an appointment. Let them know Car Guy Coffee sent you. They'll hook you up. I promise. We appreciate you all. It's been a great show, brother. Tommy, every time I run into Tommy,
it's like
I enjoy hanging out with this guy. I really do, and I'm always just such a good gentleman. But more importantly, you say you're only 3 years in this business and you're still green as it can be. Never stop that, even when you're 30 years in the business. So
I promise.
You stay green, because green means you're growing, my friends.
That's it.
So stay green, my friends.
Well, we are going from green to great, everybody, and we are going to continue moving the needle of improvement, because the biggest room in the world is the room for improvement. And when you get with people like Tommy Dent and recognize even somebody as smart as him fits in it, well, great. That means we all fit in, and you fit in too.
That's right.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. Man, this is an easy conversation to have. We're already on 30 minutes. We got like 2 podcasts right here inside of this one Interbrew. But we're so thankful again for you all hanging out. Go back, rewind if you're coming in at the end. If you're watching this on the replay, make sure you share it around. Give Tommy a whole lot of love. But make sure that you do implement some of the stuff that you're learning about. Don't just listen. Lean in. Go forward.
That's
do
right.
Something with what
the
it is.
difference between inspiration and education is implementation, right? So, folks, don't just get inspired. Get educated and go implement it. Let's go.
Let's go. So implement these F-bombs, everybody. You know the F-bombs, the F-bombs that don't offend the moms. We're going to go ahead and forget Focus Fly.
That's right.
Keep growing, everybody. It is time to go to the next Interbrew, everybody. Live at DC20. Let's forget Focus Fly. 1, 2, 3.
Forgive. Focus. Fly. And keep growing. Keep growing.
Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. I am Lou Ramirez, the Car Guy.
I'm Fred Lenard, subprime hero.
And you've been brewing solutions on the Car Guy Coffee Podcast, live at DC20 Unlocked with the one, the only Tommy Dent. Thank you so much again for coming in. We will see you soon, everybody.
Thanks.
Peace.